Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for a review of Album 8, a double album, Once Twice Melody, by the Baltimore dream pop duo Beach House. It was one of my most anticipated records of the year. It was something that I had to pick up day one. I needed this in my life. They're one of my favorite groups. After really discovering them, it opened the portal to dream pop and beyond for me, so they will always hold a special place in my heart, especially with their pivotal releases Teen Dream and Bloom. Beach House continues to prove why they are masters of their craft, branching out from dream pop to segue into elements of 80s, house, and more electronic music, while also bringing in the occasional rock styling, something a little bit more folksy. There is a lot of variety tucked into 18 tracks, and something that I feared initially is that all of the chapters would stray too far from each other to not make sense as an entire story, but that's not the case. This album flows pretty immaculately, and while there are a few blips in there that cause me to fade out and maybe not have it at the forefront of my attention, I think this is definitely something that has the energy to consistently grab you. Whether it's them taking these simple ideas, these little thoughts, these musings, and somehow turning it into a very impactful, emotional, cathartic moment, or just being a bit more whimsical with the production. This is a self-produced record, something that they created and packaged, and it's so textured, and it sounds so big, more expansive than ever for Beach House. Opening up our books to the first chapter, we had 4 songs in that initial wave. We had the title track, Once Twice Melody, Superstar, Pink Funeral, and Through Me. It's almost difficult to wrap your head around the fact that this is so pristine and lush and dreamy, but also energetic. There is a lot of momentum behind this initial wave, and for that reason, I think chapter 1 is my favorite of the 4. The title track, Once Twice Melody, is just nuts. It starts off with that drum loop that you instantly know as Beach House, but it's able to morph into something so much more psychedelic and out there in space. I love the synthesizers on this cut. Superstar makes fantastic use of its 6-minute runtime and is able to ebb and flow in a way that makes it feel like a vital piece of the album. Pink Funeral is just absolutely bonkers. This cut might be my favorite overall on the entire LP. I love that it feels like this daydream come to life, but then throw it into the sky somewhere out of reach, but also tangible at the same time. I love the fact that it opens up with these rattling trap hi-hats, and then it's able to segue into something so smooth and serene. After coming out of another bliss-soaked moment Through Me, we move into chapter 2, and that opens with the track Runaway, possibly my favorite of that chapter. I love how nonchalant it is, but it also has this idea, this momentum behind it. I think Victoria's voice stands out so much on this cut. Definitely one of her best vocal moments. ESP breaks out some acoustic guitars, a trait that is carried on later in this record, and I think they sound really pleasant, really chill and melodic. I can't say it's a top favorite, but immediately after that, it's countered by New Romance, which is very 80s leaning, almost a total atmospheric shift, but it's something that works so well for this record, not only because of the lyrics, but the overall mood that's able to shift multiple times within the house of one track. Over and Over has these incredible synth shadows that occasionally crescendo, rise, and fall. It's this epic swell and internal struggle. I think there's a lot of discussion about finding yourself and also kind of manifest destiny, the idea of making dreams a reality and also being able to let go of some of the burdens that follow us around. Over and Over might talk about some of those mistakes, and I do feel that this track runs on just a touch too long at 7 minutes. Chapter 3 is where things really start to heat up, the intensity is dialed up yet again, and the energy just has this total different dark aura, but also something mysterious and light and maybe oddly romantic to it. I feel that a cut like Masquerade is unlike anything that we've ever heard from Beach House, yet it also stands as one of their best tracks. I love the 80s pop sensibility melodies that it has, but it's able to smash the genre norms by taking a step out into a very different water. This track definitely blew my mind. The stripped back nature of Sunset makes it a very relaxing moment. I love the acoustic guitars here and the nature themes that are definitely prevalent in Beach House's discography once again on this record. I think it's a very good record to listen to while maybe sitting outdoors, and a cut like Only You Know definitely feels like the night sky opening up. I would dare say it's Beach House's most rock-leaning cut yet, and it totally fucking slaps. You'll find the duo's classic songwriting instincts intact on a track like Illusion of Forever, which plays out like a perfect loop before transitioning over to the final chapter, which is appropriately kicked off with a very burning, sincere track finale. I'm a little bit torn on a few of the cuts here, and I don't know if it's listener fatigue by the time that you get to this point of the album, or if it just feels like they can't help but recycle some of their own ideas, but I'm a little bit ambivalent towards Hurts to Love. I find that there's some slightly aggravating qualities to it, but still not anything that I don't think could grow on me in the future. And also the Bells kind of feels like an inferior version of Sunset, which was already featured on this album. A little bit more folk and western leaning. I don't think it's bad, but it does feel overly familiar. However, we close out on two undeniable moments of clarity. The first of those being Many Nights, which just feels like this raw expression come to life in a new way for Beach House. And then the closing moment, which is this dark aura with a fantastic vocal melody and chord progression, Modern Love Stories. This is a song that I didn't see coming as the closing track, but it works so well, and it leaves you with this kind of curiosity that makes you want to spin the record all over again, and that's kind of exactly what I've been doing. Once Twice Melody is a fantastic effort that once again sees Beach House playing to their biggest strengths while also opening new doors and closing a few in the process. It's an album that definitely feels like a journey, and for something that's almost 90 minutes for a runtime, it's surprisingly light on its feet, and it maneuvers quickly with a great ebb and flow. I think I'm gonna give this record a light 4.5 out of 5. What did you guys think of the new Beach House album? Let me know in the comments section, and please hit that like. A like goes a long way, especially when I'm reviewing artists that maybe aren't as mainstream, but I still want to talk about. If you have other reviews you'd like to see from me in the future, sound off in the comments. Check out another Beach House review right here, or another recent video over here, and all of my socials can be found in the description down below.